So for those of you guys who have followed me for the last 6 months, you would know and remember when I stated that we'd be going to war before the US presidential elections. I also stated that they would get rid of Joe Biden before August. So if you're like me and you just came across a couple of pages saying that the Democrat Party, the Three Musketeers, Hillary Clinton, who's a warmonger, the biggest one of them all, Barack Obama, who's a smooth warmonger, and Chuck Schumer are all coming on board to throw Joe Biden out before the election, and has threatened basically that if he fails the first debate with Donald Trump, they're going to remove him. So, it's not elected by the people at all. And tell me again how they are democratic society. You will find all of this information on my YouTube channel, so take a look. Thirdly, to report on the Serbian president, when he stated in a very candid interview several things, but the couple that stood out was one, that the US and NATO had no interest in speaking to Putin about negotiations, because Putin has gone to the table several times to talk about negotiations, about how they can resolve this conflict. Two.
It's very strange to me that no one is actually attempting to stop the war. There is another theory which I can understand, which I don't say that I do approve, but I understand that West thinks that they can win easily against Putin. They want to exhaust him in Ukraine, and then they will enter the space, and then Russia in today's territory and shaped like it is today won't exist anymore, and Putin will be overthrown and everything else. Maybe that's possible, but
do you think that is possible? Is it possible to use Ukraine to weaken Russia?
Well, it weakened Russia anyway, but is it enough to destroy Russia and to overthrow Putin? I don't believe so.
The Serbian president, went on to say that he's too busy trying to make sure that he's got enough food and water and there's enough bomb shelters for his country, because no one's talking about negotiations and peace. And then three, he then states something really important when the reporter asked him, would we go to war and how soon would it be? So he then gives an answer by stating he believes that they will go to war, or the world will go to war, within 3 to 4 months, and that was back in June. He states that because there's no talk with President Putin, the reality of going to war and having a possible World War III, if they don't take Putin out, would be before the US elections.
How close are we now to a third world war, a confrontation?
I cannot say a third world war, but that big confrontation, how far we are, I believe that we are not far away from it. Not more than 3-4 months. And there is a danger to happen even before that.
And if we stop and pause for a moment, what are the 3 things that have happened so far? Well, they're quite simple. Joe Biden would be removed before August, and he was. I also stated that we would go to war with Lebanon. And look at where we are now. In the last 48 hours, the US troops are being sent to Israel. That's just going to cause more conflict. So America is just going to be basically left with a skeleton army, if you want to put it that way. If finishing up, there's something to be said about the 5 stars, the red, white and blue. So that's France, UK, Australia, New Zealand and the USA all have in common. But I'm going to discuss that one in the next post. It's quite scary, it's quite sad, and yet we're all caught in the middle. All I can say is don't send your sons and daughters to war.